Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Zuzu. I guess that's what you guys call me, or Philip J. Fry. And I've also here with a couple friends. We've got Moosecop,
Friends.
sort of friends, I guess. We've got Moosecop, also known as Clem Johnson,
That's
and
me.
yep, and we also got your newest head office member as well, Nameless Nate. And
Yep.
we'll be taking some questions, talking about some stuff in regards to PBE or whatever it just comes to the top of the head in case we want to discuss whatever. I know we did have received some questions from people on the post that Moosecop put yesterday, so we'll be going through those. If anything else does come up, we'll talk about those as well. So you guys just want to start with the questions, or you guys have anything to say?
No, let's get right into it. So, first off, we had C Dub, aka Ziggy Coffee, Stolen Base Extraordinaire. He asked us a few questions. He said, most underrated player in the league this season. What do
Most
you guys think?
underrated player? Well, I mean, if I want to, kiss his ass, I'll say Ziggy Coffee because he didn't get selected to the All Star game, and I mean, he's doing work for the Scorpions, but
Yes, that's very true.
I mean, I'm gonna say Ziggy Coffee for right now, just to be on his good side.
See, I
But
want to say Mookie Banks, since everyone really takes his record for granted, but he's really a great pitcher. He just
uh,
has no run support coming out of the Aviators.
oh, yeah, for sure. Uh, Definitely not pitching to, what's his record now? Like 3-13 or something?
yeah, he's 3-13.
Yeah, 3-13, sub 4 ERA, 2.5 WAR. Yeah, I could definitely
121
agree with that.
strikeouts.
Oh yeah, ton of strikeouts.
He's got 121 from what I was just looking to find it. Yep, 121. Yeah, I mean, if Banks was on another team, he would be absolutely destroying. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he'd still suck on the Voyagers, but on any other like playoff team, like the Vandals or the Sloths, even, he would be an ace pitcher, hands down, and would probably be in the running for, definitely Rookie of the Year. Probably not right now, but I mean, his stats are pretty good besides his record, which is pretty abysmal.
Yeah,
Kind
the,
of stinks.
the the only thing keeping him out of the Rookie of the Year is that he joined at the beginning. He joined in the middle of last season,
That too. I always forget about
which
that.
is technically not allowed to be in Rookie of the Year. But yeah, in his first full season, yeah, he's definitely dominating. I would definitely have to agree with Ziggy Coffee. Also, incredibly underrated. Gets on base at almost 300 clip. He swipes a base like every single freaking time. So it's basically a double every single he hits.
Yeah, that's true. You guys have any other players that you can think of or would like to
No, you guys
mention?
stole mine.
Oh,
Maybe Stephen Moore. Stephen Moore. I talked about him during the stream the other day. He is having. I mentioned this to Ryan Stryker. I don't know what his tag on the site is, but yeah, I was pretty sure Stephen Moore was having a career year. Yeah, this year and last season he's having.
around 273
Yeah,
or
hitting
33.
273. About the same amount of home runs he's had last season, 14. His WAR is up a tiny bit. So, I mean, if you like almost 3 WAR is very substantial, especially now that the Vandals aren't as sure cut to be the top team and they're in a playoff. And I don't know about a playoff hunt, but like a fight for the seeds. So, yeah, I guess he would be my most underrated player, especially because the Vandals are so stacked everywhere else.
I have one more player that I would like to mention in
Okay.
regards to this question. Marcos Gonzalez. I mean, he doesn't hit very well, but his fielding is probably one of the best fielders, outfielders in the game. I mean, if you look at his stats, he's got a zone The ZR, yeah, zone rating, whatever they're called, it's plus 8.2. And then, like, every other year he's been above, like, 9 or 10. I mean, he's a pretty good, decent hitter. I mean, he's batting, like, 228 throughout his career. But
Hmm.
besides that, I mean, like, if you had somebody else in the outfield that wasn't covering as much ground as him, you would definitely notice the holes and gaps that would be left if you removed him from the outfield.
Yeah,
Doesn't
he's a good sell choice.
yeah, I mean he doesn't provide much offensively, but defensively is definitely one of those players that you would notice once he does leave or retire, whatever does eventually happen with him. Oh, anybody else have anything else to mention, Nate, or are you good?
No, I think that was a pretty good list.
Okay.
All right. So the next question is, when are we going to stop seeing the big three Vandals, Crabs, Sloths in the playoffs? When do we think we're going to see a new playoff team, and who's it going to be?
Um. Yeah. Well,
I know
it's
it's a tough question.
well. I mean, if you look at us, the Voyagers and the Aviators, right now, we're going through like a heavy rebuilding process. But I mean, this past draft, we did really well. We picked up a lot of good young active players like Nate, who's in with us right now, as well as
Yep.
Borthwell, Roadsinger. Everybody's like talking on Discord and
Ryan
everything.
Stryker, don't
Yeah.
forget Ryan Stryker.
Ryan Stryker. I'll just name everybody on the Discord. We also got. Hopefully, we may have McBantershire coming back too, but it's if we have more players that are active, I could definitely see us making a push. We did progress from last year, record-wise, only by 2 wins as of right now, but there is still 10 games remaining in the playoffs. Not the playoffs, the regular season. I'm sorry. So, um, I feel like, I mean, the best team would probably be the Scorpions since they're,
So close.
yeah, they are pretty
They've
close.
always been close.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think the Scorpions are the closest if they can get Paulo Di Stefano back, but without Paulo Di Stefano, they're probably just as far away as we are.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that because the main thing that keeps us and the Aviators, in my opinion, closest to being a playoff team before the Scorpions was just how good our drafts have been the past 2 seasons. I know getting Jimmy Dong was a great pickup for them, but I mean I don't. Matt Carbine's okay. Matt Carbine's semi-active, I'm pretty sure. His stats in the game are abysmal though, so
I think a lot of it depends too on how this upcoming free agency period will shape out
hmm
with players like Deroldis Borkman and possibly Connor McDonald going to new teams.
hmm yeah, it could definitely shake up the playoff hunt in the next couple seasons. Um, yeah, in my opinion, heavily biased. I think we get to the playoffs before the other two teams, but
I was just looking at the stats for the Scorpions very
it's honestly
quickly,
close.
and from when the Scorpions traded the stuff the Stefano to the Crabs for that 1 month from July to August 21st, they only had about I think it was like 7 or 8 wins without him on the lineup.
hmm
So I mean, he is like you said before, Nate. He is like a very big piece to their offense. And I mean, based on what it seems like was said previously about the trade, he may be going back there after the season's over, since it was just for this year, hoping possibly that he could win a championship with the Crabs, which I definitely think they could. But yeah, without him or some big name hitter in the lineup, they kind of do downgrade back to kind of where the Voyagers and the Aviators are. So
hmm
I was just looking at that, and I thought that'd be interesting to share.
Yeah, I mean, just from the past 2 seasons, because I've only been in the league the past 2 seasons, it just seems that the Scorpions, their biggest problem is just their players just underperform. I don't know why. They've got a ton of active players.
Desert.
Maybe
It's
the
gotta be.
desert era.
It's gotta be.
I don't know. A lot of their good players, Minjin Du, obviously, um, Kevin Biggio, Osmotez Buckshank, they're obviously superstars.
I mean,
Not, I mean, definitely this season. All three of them have been incredible. And Ziggy Coffee, obviously, but it's just the other guys. Just Hawk Russell's underperforming horribly. Jimmy
yeah.
Dong, he's a rookie, so you don't expect much from him. But he's underperforming for his activity on the site, which hurts. They've got Musgrave Smythe is a great back end bullpen guy. Tim Jackson's been struggling, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna mention specifically Hulk Russell as well. I mean, he went from winning Rookie of the Year last year, in the draft class that we came in, and now he's batting below 200 as a negative 1.1 WAR. And I mean, he still has broken double-digit home runs. He's got 13, but I mean, besides that, it's definitely, like you said, it must be something in the air or in the water, or they're not juicing the balls over there like we do in New York. But it's maybe it's, or it could be just the sophomore slump. First year.
That's true.
Like other people mentioned before that there might be something in the game in regards to rookies and like not knowing how to approach them. And then the second year understanding like, oh, this is how they attack certain pitches or, situations. But yeah. I definitely agree with everything you guys have said.
Okay, so the last question, C-Dub asked, question for you, Nate. Best rookie so far.
I mean, it's obviously Nate Piazza.
Of course.
Next question? No. No.
Yeah, I think Demetrius Webster, as much as I hate to admit it, is probably the best rookie. He's just got amazing stats, even though he's being assisted a ton by the Aviators Stadium. He's got 14 home runs. He's got what I think it's a plus 700 slugging. It's just he might be able to get caught up by some of these pitchers in the last sim. He's just surpassed everybody so far.
Yeah, I think he was definitely close coming into at least this final week of Sims, so that's like, what, 20 some odd games between him, Gretzinger, and Tyler Ellis. But he's continued to perform this past week. Ollis and Gretzinger both dropped off in terms of production at least a tiny bit, and that definitely opened up the door that Webster is, he just barged through. I mean, I don't think there's any other way he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like he's probably going to win Rookie of the Year as well. And like you did mention, there are a couple other names. Like you mentioned, Tyler Oles or Oles, however you want to say it. I'm just going to say Oles because that's what it looks like to me. I'm sorry, but I mean, also, like Nate said, we do have himself, and we also do have Borthwell, who was our first pick. I mean, Borthwell was doing pretty well. But, like you mentioned recently, within the last 8 games, he's only batting a 067, which kind of hurt him. But I know the previous sim before that, he was doing really well, and I was like, damn, maybe he can actually make a run for it near the end.
High 300. Again, Borthwell, technically not a rookie, so he doesn't count.
Yeah, I keep on forgetting about this stupid rule.
Season 5 draft class, but he's Season 4 regression, so he's not part of this Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, well, yep, so then it's definitely going to be Demetrius Webster. Congratulations. 100%. Yeah. Calling it now.
We'll give you a preemptive congratulations now.
Yes.
All right, that's all for C-Dub. The commish Madge, he had some questions for us. This is one for us personally. How do you rate the growth of the Voyagers this season?
I think you should answer this first, Clem.
Me?
Yeah, you're, I mean,
Okay.
co-GM now, so I want to see what you think. And then,
Um, Obviously, we have grown from last season. We had, what, 3 active players after we traded?
yeah, where's?
Yeah, after Penny Cowers was traded near the trade deadline last season, it was just me, you, and FTR. I believe are the only 3 people actively updating every week.
Mhm.
So to come to this season, I mean, I know our win-loss record is only slightly better than it was last year, which is great in my opinion. This is one of the goals that I set for the team
Me too.
at the start of the season. At least match or beat it. Also, wanted to be above the Aviators because obviously they're the closest thing we have to a rival right now
Yeah.
in terms of talent on the field. And now to see like our Discord is way more active. Elton Sinclair, Shadows came back. Ryan Stryker's there. Nate's there. Obviously BW.
Mhm.
So uh, Andrew Warren Gretzinger is there. Yeah, I think like at least in my opinion, my favorite part of this sim league is like having an active and great locker room. So to grow from like just the 3 people that it was into like what we have like almost 10 now. We all get along really well. Been really nice in my opinion. So
Oh yeah,
fingers
definitely.
crossed, nothing changes too
No, yeah.
much.
I agree with you 100%. It was hard last year sometimes to like just be active because it was like nobody was doing anything except for like,
Mm-hmm.
you and Cowers and FTR, he's like a specter. Sometimes he just shows up randomly, so it's but this season just made it's a lot easier to want to be a part of this league because all the rookies, including Nate, it's made being a part of the Voyagers a lot more fun and active, and we just screw around in the locker room, on the Discord channel, just like talking about stupid stuff, and we playing Rocket League last night too, and it's just it's a good time, and I'm really happy to be a part of this organization. And like Moose said before, one of my goals was to, personally grow as a player, to get my stats up, but wanting to improve the team as a whole. And, we have done that. Our record's better than last year's, even though it's still poop. We still, we're still progressing, just gotta hashtag trust that process,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I'm happy for the growth. It's you can't expect us to just like become contenders out of nowhere, but sooner or later, if we keep all these pieces um, happy and active, we'll definitely be a team that could make a push into the playoffs and hopefully for the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I don't really know how to rate the growth because I wasn't here last season. I did see that it was pretty abysmal. I mean, I looked at all the records and stuff before I got drafted, and I mean, I think we've definitely grown as a team. Like you guys said, there was 3 guys updating at one point, and this year I don't think we've had any less than 5 updating in one week.
Yep.
So it's definitely growth. It's positive growth. We need more of it, but we're on the right direction.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I would like to apologize because probably it was me not updating because I forget to do that sometimes, and then Clem yells at me. So
It's
it
okay.
could have been 6, but instead it was 5. But
It's okay. All right. Next question from Madge. Final 10 games of the season playoff predictions. How do we think tonight's sim is going to go?
oh,
Standings currently have Sloths at 57 wins, Vancouver 56, Crabs 55. And they've all clinched, obviously. It's just a matter of who gets that bye and who gets that home field advantage in, I guess, the wild card game you would call it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be a tight race, definitely in the West, with the Sauce and Vandals only one game behind. I mean, they're both really good teams. Either one of them is very deserving of it. I mean, if you look at the games being played, the Crabs will be playing the Scorpions, and then we're playing the Sloths, and Vandals are playing the Aviators at the beginning of the sim. I'm not sure if those matchups would be changing.
After after the Sloths play us, they play against the Vandals, and after
Yeah.
we play the Crabs the second series, and the Aviators play Scorpions second series.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So that's gonna be that's gonna be a really intense series, right at the end of the season. Vandals
Mhm.
and Sloths playing pretty much for that top spot. So, I mean, I feel like pretty much whoever's gonna win that series will probably take first place and get the that home field. That seems what would make more sense unless there was some crazy things that happened in regards to us or the Aviators, pulling out like a win and the other team losing. I mean, losing as well or something like that.
Mhm.
But it's probably going to come down to that last series against them for the wild card. Uh, I feel like the Vandals are going to probably pull it out. I feel like they've been here before. They know what they're doing. They have a lot of good players, and it's just. I mean, it stinks to think that it's going to happen because I don't want them to win. Not anything against them, but it's just like let's throw a change ball, curveball every once in a while. Get some new teams in there, but I feel like they'll probably pull it out. What do you guys think?
I mean, yeah, I definitely see the Sloss and Vandals series being very important for the playoff seeding. I think it really just depends on how each team performs. I can see either of those teams running away with the series and becoming the bye week winners. But and with the Crabs though, the Crabs probably have an easier path to getting that first overall seed
That's what
as
I
they
was gonna
play
say.
us. And I think the Scorpions. So the Crabs have a really good opportunity to make it to the World Series straight away from this last sim.
Yeah, they've definitely been absolutely on fire in the second half since getting Di Stefano. 8-2 in their last 10. I don't know if it's 100%. Probably the best offense since acquiring him. Um, yeah, like you said, they get their next 4 games are against us at home against the Scorpions, followed by on the road against us. Not gonna lie, we don't we don't stack up very well to them, so they could easily take another 8 out of their next 10 and just walk straight to the World Series, having leave the slots for another matchup against the Vandals in a battle to see who gets there.
Yeah, I think the Crabs definitely have a good chance of winning the World Series, the championship
Oh
this
yeah,
year.
all 3 of these teams are so close. I mean,
Yeah, uh, but I picked them. I picked them to win before, so I'm gonna have to pick them again now because if I change my mind, I'm gonna look like it's not gonna look good. So I gotta stick with the Crabs. But I mean, like you said, the Di Stefano trade really helped them out and pushed them to where they are now. I mean, he's batting like 289. He's got 21 home runs. Him and Columbus in the outfield both have like almost like 50 home runs combined. And
mhm.
it's, I mean, the team right now is looking ridiculous. Randy Koufax has been doing really well recently. He's like 4-1 in his last 7 games. That's what it says. He's got a 2.0 ERA, and then Castillo also has got a 1 ERA and 2 wins. I mean, if they keep their pitching up, I mean, they also got Pete Rose, they got Penny Cowers, they got Tyler Oles too. They have good pitching and a good offense, and I feel like it's going to be really deadly when it comes to the playoffs. And that's why I'm going to put them as the champions for this year.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see the Crabs taking it all away. the combination of everything, best closer.
Mm-hmm. Craziest
Arguably,
closer.
pitcher of the year right now in Ernesto Castillo. DiStefano has 12 home runs just since joining them. This is ridiculous. Him, Mike Boss, Adrian Columbus, Jared Stanton.
And that's been about
Tons of home runs.
That's almost been about 2 months. He joined them in July 21st. That was when the trade was done. That's like 6 home runs a month. That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. So, next question: Who rookie? I mean, we said rookie of the year already. Who do we got for MVP, pitcher of the year?
Well, that could also be reliever of the year.
Oh yeah, okay. That'd be a better question to answer because we already did rookie of the year. So we'll do those three. We'll start with the reliever of the year.
Well, you want to go? No.
Oh.
I mean, I'm gonna be biased again, because you gotta keep the Voyager blood warm, I'm gonna go with the Swiss Miss himself, but I know he's not gonna win it because he's still a rookie and his stats don't compare a lot to the rest of the league. But sooner or later, he'll get that.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, save wise, or just like any sort of reliever, you could go with Ovechkin, Penny Cowers. Either one of them would probably go to be the top one, or Musgrave Smythe. All of them are like the top closers in the league, but I mean, from what I'm looking at, Penny Cowers and Ovechkin do have the most saves, tied with 16, and Musgrave Smythe does have 15 right behind them. So it's going to be a pretty close race. It looks like between them two for relievers at least.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Nate?
Well, for reliever, I think Musgrave Smythe is probably on top of my list. He's got the lowest ERA, and I believe he has the most strikeouts out of all relievers. Penny Cowers is pretty close, I'm pretty sure.
Penny Cowers has 135 strikeouts, and Musgrave Smythe has 86.
Musgrave Smythe has the highest strikeouts per 9 of the three. Highest of all relievers, I believe, too.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. But I also want to throw in Swiss Miss. He's the winningest reliever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
No,
if this
that's
is
right.
about our team, but he might be able to get some votes, but he's not going to win it. He's going to get votes. But I think it's between Musgrave Smythe and Penny Cowers right now.
Yes, I'm gonna have to agree. I definitely put Gretzinger in my top 3, maybe top 4, between those 4 that we already mentioned. Penny Cowers, in my mind, is the best out of all of them. 2.5 WAR. Got the 2.5 ERA, which is only slightly higher to Musgrave Smythe's 2.48. It's not that huge of a difference. Obviously, on the best team. I mean, outside of Ovechkin. Ovechkin's on a great team as well. But yeah, I think that Cowers being on the better team puts him above Musgrave Smythe. And, I don't know. It's a super close one, so this is super tough to argue, but...
Well, it brings up a lot of different players. And it, like you mentioned, it is pretty tough to argue, but I mean...
Yeah, the biggest thing that makes it hard to argue is that saves aren't as huge in our league as they are in real life. Because the bullpens are so small, so we use almost every team uses a stopper, except for, I think, the sloths. So these superstar relievers aren't coming in the 9th inning. They're coming in the 6th, 7th, and 8th and shutting down the other offense before they can get even close to cracking the scoreboard. So
Yeah. Another thing about Penny Cowers is that his stuff is really good. So, not just his pitching, but I mean, yeah. I mean, if you look at it, yeah. But I mean, this stupid joke. I'm sorry, but I mean, yeah. Either one of those players that we mentioned, Musgrave, Smythe, Ovechkin, Cowers, definitely top of the list for reliever of the year. So, but I feel like Couch is probably going to win it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. All right, pitcher of the year.
Pitcher.
A highly contested one as well. Between, I would say it's just two. I think it's just a two-horse race between Victoria's Secret, the Vandals, because she's always up there, and Ernesto Castillo of the Crabs. And I think Ernesto Castillo's ahead of her.
Oh, I mean, Victoria's Secret, she's got an 11-5 record. She's got how many? 149 strikeouts or WARs of 4.6. And then let's take a look at Castillo is 8-5. The ERA is a 2.7. His WARs a 5.8. So I mean, just looking stat wise, it definitely seems like Ernesto Castillo definitely, impacts his team a lot more than Victoria's Secret, even though Victoria's Secret does, most of her stats are a tiny bit better. So, I mean, like you mentioned, I could definitely see Castillo, either one of them winning it, but I feel like he would edge over her just because of how much of an impact that he has had for the Crabs this season.
Yeah, I agree with Castillo probably edging out Secret. Although I would like to mention that we're missing one pitcher who's doing pretty well. He's not top two. I think he's definitely going to be three, and that's Esteban Rodriguez.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, he'd definitely be my third pitcher on this list.
Yeah, I mean, Rodriguez is 15-5, so I mean that's a phenomenal record. So, I mean, you could definitely argue that he could win it, but I feel like those two pitchers in Secret and Castillo are just too close and have done way too much for their teams and statistic-wise that.
Yeah, if you just look at like all the efficiency statistics, like walks, hits, innings per nine, and stuff like that, Castillo and Secret are 1 and 2 in all those.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, Castillo is leading in almost every pitching category that at least the index shows us. Walks per nine, strikeouts, opponent's average, opponent's slugging, OPS. They're all incredibly low. They're all leading all pitchers.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm gonna tip my hat to Castillo in this one. If he doesn't win this, then I wouldn't be surprised if Secret won. But I mean, Castillo's stats as of right now, and just for the whole season, have been phenomenal. So I definitely see him taking the pitcher of the year this season.
So next question, MVP. Who you guys got? This is another tough one.
Yeah.
So many good players.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, there is a ton of good players. We could just go with last year's MVP again. We can go with O'Sullivan. But
that's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing really well again this year. He's batting over 300, got 26 home runs. I mean, he's definitely helping and leading that Sloth team to that number one spot. And I mean, even
5.3 WAR.
Yeah, I mean, the man's ridiculous.
Any other hitter.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how good he is at this game, O'Sullivan, and it's just, I mean, he leads the league in home runs as well, RBIs, so.
Hitting over 300.
Yeah, and,
plays Gold Glove defense.
Yeah, he definitely isn't. Yeah, he's not like a one-tool kind of person where he's just only good at hitting. He's, a phenomenal fielder as well. But yeah, so I mean, I would probably, throw Sullivan's name in again, even though he did win last year. I guess it's just going to be, one of those sims where it's just, or even like in real life, where the same player wins the MVP all the time. I mean, it happens.
Julian O'Sullivan's render on the site is Mike Trout.
Yeah. Species of fish. No.
They're both fish, yeah.
I think it's more of a symptom of a young league, though, where Sullivan is like a founding player, and top
Second,
TPE.
yeah, second or third in TPE out of everybody.
Yeah, I mean that definitely helps out your stats when you have like the second or third most earned attribute points in the league. So um, that definitely helps out. Another player that I mean I like personally, but I don't think would probably win the MVP this year is definitely Connor McDonald. I mean he's batting 312. He's doing really well again this year. He was the MVP for the Vandals last year in the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So I could definitely see that, and it seems like from what I'm looking at, he was also on a 20 game hitting streak as well, and that recently just ended. So I mean, he's been hot recently, but I feel like maybe that his stats weren't. I mean, looking at it, it doesn't seem like his stats were as good at the beginning of the season. But if they were, he would probably be another name I would throw in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Connor McDonald's a name that I have a lot of respect for because I believe he is also a contact hitter archetype, which I am also. So I have a ton of respect for being able to play at such a high level with such low power and like middle of the road power, such low gap hitting. There you go.
A gap.
Yeah, but like just hitting like 15 home runs isn't going to compare to the almost 30 that these big name power guys are hitting.
Yeah, he
That's at
does.
the top of the lineup, I believe. So he's not going to drive in a ton of runs. He's going to score a ton of runs, which he does, leading the league in runs scored, I believe. Or second in the league in the runs scored.
Yeah,
Tied with Julian O'Sullivan for most hits. So
he also does lead the league in single set as well. So I mean, he definitely does have that sort of contact archetype, like you did mention, which it's not the best or the flashiest, except especially stat wise, which could maybe that's why it does hurt his run for the MVP a little bit because of players like O'Sullivan or even like Vic Thunder, where they just have like games where they're just hitting two or three home runs, and then because of that they're also leading in like RBIs and everything like that. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe like next year, or the year after that, if McDonald was steady throughout the whole season, if he won the MVP. He's definitely a player that could definitely win it and has the stats to do so and the mindset to.
this is a good question for Nate because I don't really have too many opinions on this one. What would you like to change or implement into the league? Our newest head office guy.
I would like to see the league move to OOTP 19. I just like the models in that one a lot better, and I know that we're heading that direction possibly in season 7. But maybe for a rules wise, I'd like to see more minor league, like in depth minor league rules, such as like send down, call up options, and like expanded rosters around the playoffs. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, expanded rosters are a good one. Currently, we're not as big as the other sim leagues right now,
Yeah, that's
NFL,
the big
NHL.
problem.
We're getting there, but yeah, we're still very young, so.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the main things is that because we don't have a lot of players like other sim leagues, like you mentioned, like the NSFL or even like the hockey league, where I mean, you said how many people were in? There was 80 people in the draft,
It was
right?
like 100. The minor league systems, the junior systems, whatever you want to call it, that they have are so filled with players. You know,
Mm-hmm.
eventually we'll get there, but currently for now, I mean, currently the players. This is probably one of the last seasons that we're gonna see rookies really be any use to the PBE teams because they're just going to be so much worse than everybody that's already in there that they're going to need to be that they're going to have to start in the minors, otherwise they're just going to get destroyed. It's going to kill activity. No one's going to want to play, you know.
No, yeah, definitely. Especially, because all these other positions and, have been taken by active players that, the only way that you're going to be there is if a player gets traded, a player retires or something like that. But even then, like these, people that have players retire, their money's carrying over, so they could just like
Right.
buy all the stuff that they need, and even like for a rookie, they may even be better than them within like the next 2 seasons or something because they have $20 million in the bank.
Hmm.
But I thought I've been thinking about what would be like a cool thing is something like like the World Baseball Classic or something like that, where every couple years or after every season we could like pick there would be like a select number of nations that you could play for or something like that, and you
Hmm.
pick those nations, and then it's just like a friendly tournament or something like that to like kind of keep something going during like the off season while people are out recruiting for people or anything like that. That would be something cool to do because I know that's one of the biggest things is that during the lulls of the off season it's just like, well, there's really not much going on the site or going
Yeah,
on
there's
with
a
the
ton of behind
stream.
the scenes stuff going on, but for the
Yeah.
regular player,
Mhm.
I know before last season, before season 4, they had an off-season tournament. You probably didn't pay attention to it. I know I didn't really pay attention to it, where they basically kind of did that.
Oh, okay.
I know Madge, Colby, Juosu, I forget who the other one was. They each basically just picked a like pickup game style thing, and they had a little tournament. That'd be cool to see return every other season, maybe every other 2 seasons or something like that, as a way to supplement like a World Baseball Classic style thing.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
like the idea.
Yeah, definitely. That yeah, that sounds cool. I would totally be down or interested for that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I didn't know that that even existed. So thanks for mentioning that. But yeah, it's. I feel like that's one of the things, especially for me, since I'm just a player in the league. Like I don't really, I've done like a media piece, but that's like pretty much it. I'm not part of the head office, or I'm not like a GM or anything like that. But like I feel
Hmm.
like I would want to be more engaged during like these off seasons.
Hmm.
Um, Another thing that I also wanted to mention was um, more for like when rookies or players are being created. Maybe some sort instead of like going through the rookie guide. I know it may take some time to do it, but like some sort of like video or like
Hmm.
tutorial video to help rookies because some like when I first came onto this site for the PBE sim, it seemed very daunting because I didn't know where anything was. So
Right.
if there was like even just like a small YouTube page where it just had that video to show people where certain things are or how to make a player, I feel like that would definitely help out and like about new players at least.
Hmm. Yeah, I would agree about that video. I mean, when I first joined the league as well, I had no idea how anything worked, like at all. And yeah, the rookie guide that we had at the time, I think was still the same thing that we're using now. It was good. It's basically a wall of text though, so it
Yeah.
can always be intimidating. Having a nice 2, 3, 4 minute video. I'm a much more visual learner.
Yeah.
Definitely helped me, you know.
Yeah, me too as well. So I feel like, people that aren't interested in reading like a giant wall of text, if there was like a link somewhere, or if when recruiters are going on to like Reddit or wherever they're going, they could just like post a video and be like, "Oh, this is actually what we do," and instead of explaining and putting this giant wall of text, because even people on Reddit don't want to see it. It turns me off when I go into a subreddit and see someone just posting like this giant wall of text about like
Right.
something that I've never really heard about. So I don't know. Maybe that just thoughts doesn't have to
Hmm.
go, but just something that I've thought of previously. You guys have anything else, or should we move on?
No, I'm pretty resistant to change. Like minor tweaks to things. So, yeah, none of those were big, massive overhauls in anything. So I agree with all of them.
Yeah, it's not like big changes. It's just trying to, I guess, implement or help new players. It's not like we're trying to overhaul the whole like a tribute thing, and it's not like that's going to actually happen. It's just like another way for people to be engaged and help out people that are new because they may feel intimidated, like joining like the Discord or something like that. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I really got. Unless anybody else has something, we can move on to the next question.
Yeah, I think we can move on.
All right, this one we're done with Madge's questions. Max Crazy, GM of the Vandals. First question: is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh,
Hell no.
That's like
Tell him,
asking,
Nate.
is a taco a sandwich? I mean, a hot
yeah,
dog is probably just a taco.
yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going through your people's heads when you think a hot dog's a sandwich. It ain't no sandwich. You got a bun, you got a dog, that's it. I mean, you can put some stuff on it, like ketchup or, some sauerkraut. But, I mean, no, it's not a sandwich. I like Nate's thing about the taco because a taco ain't no sandwich either. It's pretty much the same thing. Like a hard taco. You put a meat inside of it, it's not no sandwich, though. I'm done. I don't want to answer this question anymore.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on. He already has an aneurysm. Which team do you think improved the most during the season? I think this is a pretty easy one.
Well, I think probably the Crabs with the acquisition
Yep.
of DiStefano in the middle of the season. I don't know if there are any other big acquisitions for any teams during the season, but that was definitely the most impactful one.
Yeah, I believe it's like the only trade that was really made. Yeah, getting All-Star, Superstar, you get... I know in your media piece you had the interview with, I believe it was TLK, GM of the Crabs. People felt that he overpaid. I don't think he overpaid at all. You try to win a championship now. Sometimes you got to give up a little more than people think is worth. And getting DiStefano, you get DiStefano as he said in his interview with you. You also get Madge, who's behind the player. He knows the sim inside and out. His player's obviously good.
The man behind the mask.
The man behind the mask. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, you get a big all-star power bat right in the middle of your lineup. Not that they need it anymore, but
Yeah, I definitely think that is the the most improved team. It definitely. I mean, without them, I probably wouldn't have picked. I mean, without the Stefano Mash going to the Crabs, I probably wouldn't have picked them to win. I mean, they probably definitely would have made the playoffs, but I think that does give them the edge, and does put them ahead of for me personally, the Vandals and the Sloths to win the championship this season. So it's definitely a huge improvement, not just for the stats and what the player does on the field, but like you mentioned, having Madge there, to give some advice or some information that he knows about the whole sim in the league, for the Crabs manager.
yeah, I know a lot of people in the preseason predictions had them second, and that was before they acquired DiStefano. So, and seeing just how close that the teams are now between the Crabs, Sloths, and Vandals, they might just prove everybody's prediction wrong. Finish first. So, yeah, it's definitely a biggest improvement during the season so far.
It's also not like they needed those draft picks. They're a pretty well-built team already.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much room for any new players, so those draft picks would have been probably burnt anyways.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah,
that is
I don't
very
remember
true.
who it was that said it. Someone was saying the other day, a draft pick is only as good as the draft class. So if you don't expect the draft class to be as strong as it was this past season, you feel a lot safer just giving up those picks because you know, hey, whether he leaves or not, like we weren't going to get anything good out of those picks anyway.
Yeah, that is true as well. I definitely think it was a good move, a smart move, to pick him up. I feel like, it is kind of like one of those things where, I can't think of the name of the team where they just bought all those old players and they were just like, okay, we're going to try to win, and then they lost. I don't remember. I think it was hockey or
Padres?
something. No, it wasn't the Padres. I can't think of it right now, but if I think of it, I'll bring it back up. But I mean, it's not like Magic's player is old or anything like that. The stuff, and I was like, I mean, he's been around for a few
season
seasons.
3, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah, season 3 regression.
yeah. So it's like it's not like that's gonna happen anytime soon. So it's definitely a huge trade, throughout the league and for the Crabs, and hopefully it works out for them.
Next question is, do you think there will be any big trades in the off season? No idea.
I see there being potential since the sloths are only like 4 million off of the hard cap. They might be trying to move some of those higher contracted players in order to be able to even sign any rookies. But other than that,
Yes.
I don't see any big trades. Maybe big free agents being signed, but not trades.
Yeah, speaking to that same thing like you just said, they've very close to was it the hard cap or the soft cap already?
Hard cap, yeah. Hard
And they're not. We haven't even finished season 5 yet. Yeah, I could definitely see them making a salary dump trade. Somebody, maybe us, maybe the Aviators, maybe the Scorpions, with a ton of free space. Dumping. I don't know how many inactive players the slots have. They all seem pretty like the players that are good all seem pretty active. So I don't know if you really want to give them up. But yeah, if it's gonna be anybody, it's gonna be the slots. I think that dump somebody.
It's either
I have
that,
no idea.
yeah, it's either that or reworking like everybody's contracts to make
Yeah.
sure. And I mean, I guess if you're on a team like the Sloths, where as of right now you're sitting in first place in the league, if you're happy with that and you want to stay on that team because you know that they can win, I mean, you could take the minimum. Why not just take the minimum to be on a winning team if that's your whole thing? But I guess it really does come down to like exactly what is going on with that payroll. Like you mentioned, they could definitely trade some players. I don't know who is active and who's not active as well, but I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. But I also remember people mentioning something about Borkman, but I don't know if he'll be traded or anything. But I believe is he gonna be a free agent this at the end of this year or
Yes.
no?
As of now, his contract ends at the end of this season.
Okay.
I don't think they re-signed him.
Yeah, I remember seeing some stuff in the chat
Yeah.
about that, but so I mean that would be another big name, but it seems like a lot of the people that would have been traded would have been those guys at the end of their contracts to try to try to big name to a team to get some picks or something like that if they knew they were going to leave or something. But like right now, everything's probably just going to be moving towards free agency, and then those are where the big moves are going to be made.
Yep. This next one, I'm gonna throw this question out there, and then I'll be right back in like 2 minutes. All three of us are part of the younger generation. It is a two-part question. This is from Juosu now. All three of us are part of the younger generation of the Voyagers. How is the atmosphere? Has the team atmosphere been between us and the older players, as well as career goals for us? I'll be right back.
Okay. Um, you want to go, Nate, or
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
okay?
Since this is like my first season with the Voyagers, whenever I first came in the locker room, it was pretty quiet. It was just Moose and FTR, and I think you were just there to welcome me, and Borthwell, since he was the pick before me.
Uh-huh.
And it was just kind of empty, but we all really like became friends pretty quickly. We all really meshed very well, and uh, and then as the season kept going on, older players such as Shadows with Sinclair and Laddie McBantershire just very recently have come back, and we've meshed well with them too. I feel like this is a group that I can stay with, and I think that we all pretty much feel the same way. And as for goals, I guess I would say I want to be able to eventually surpass Ishikawa. I don't know if that's going to take him until he regresses for me to catch up, but I would really like to become the hitting catcher that everyone's like, yeah, we need to walk Piazza or he's going to hit a home run off us.
Like the real Piazza.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean that's a great goal. It's just, it'll take some time, but it's definitely something
It'll
that.
take me all my peak seasons.
No, yeah, definitely. It's gonna, you're gonna have to put a lot of stats in. I mean, I'm still, Phil J. Fry still the second season. He's not doing as hot. I mean, he's doing better than last season. He's got like a 220 average, 222 or something like that. And like Nate mentioned before, we are a part of like the newer generation, I guess, like Generation X of the Voyagers. But it did kind of stink, like I mentioned before, and like Nate mentioned, it wasn't a very active place on the Discord when I joined originally because it was very limited players, like just me and Moosecop, Clem Johnson. And FTR was more active definitely during then, but I know he's had a lot of computer problems recently. So I mean, everything's all fine with that. But also like Nate did mention, we've had some older players come back, like Shadows, and like the Bantershire also mentioned that they may be coming back as well. So it's there's not really much of a difference between the generations of like the newer draft picks and the the people that have been there since the beginning. I mean, a lot of the times they do mention we got to bring back the Voyagers to like season one, where they when they won the championship and all this stuff did happen, which would, I mean, I think that's what we're all going towards as a common goal. Is like that is what we want to do with this team. Is we just want to get better as players and make this team better as as we progress together, pretty much. Um,
Okay, I'm
but
back.
okay. And then, but in regards to like career goals for myself or Phil J. Fry as a player, I just want. I mean, I kind of started off crappy because I put all my TPE into like gap hitting, which I recommend nobody ever do ever again. Please, it's the worst thing ever. But
No, everybody put your stats into gap hitting.
oh yeah,
It's
except for the players in the
100%
Voyagers.
proven to work.
It's 100% proven, but I mean, like now my guy's definitely Fry is definitely turning it around. He's definitely doing a lot better than he did last year, like I mentioned. But I just want to be the sort of player that can do pretty much anything really, able to like get extra base hits, able to hit home runs too. So whatever kind of need that needs to be filled, that he's going to be able to do that within the lineup. And then in the outfield, I just want to throw people out. That's the only thing I want to do. So, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy with where I am right now. It's just putting the effort and putting the TP into my guy when I need to and not forget to do it.
Did you go over your career goals yet, Nate?
Yeah. I was talking about how I want to be just like the real Piazza, where
Right.
every pitcher is afraid to pitch to him.
That he wants to take over
Definitely
Ishikawa.
need. I mean, we definitely need more bats like that in our lineup. I'm pretty sure you're the only power hitter in our lineup.
Yeah, the only active
Our
power hitters, some of the
archetype.
inactives are power hitters.
Yeah. Because Philip J. Fry is balanced. I'm contact. Dalzar's contact. Borthwell, I think, is balanced. So, yeah, we definitely need a solid number 4 hitter.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping that it's you.
Yeah,
um,
so too.
my personal career goals, stay as an all-star level talent, whether it's at second or shortstop. Doesn't really matter to me. Prefer second base. Hopefully, we pick up a shortstop somewhere. Um, yeah, be that leadoff type of hitter. Doesn't just if he's not getting hits, he's drawing walks, and yeah, just getting on base, letting 2, 3, 4 guys drive him in, and just not being a liability in the field. So, which I have been. So, crown the nickname Noodles for that.
Well, that's just your arm. Your feeling's fine. It's just you can't throw sometimes. I mean,
it's just the double plays.
Yeah, I mean, I have 7 errors this season in the outfield, so I mean that's pretty crap. But
I've got 8, but technically I'm not a shortstop. I've been playing shortstop all season, so probably has a big reason for that.
Also, I'm not sure if you missed this by accident, but it seems like there was another question at the top about your role as co-GM. And
right, yeah. I was skipping those two.
Oh, okay, because I did mention something.
For now.
Oh, okay. Because I mentioned something about, like, McBantershire and Shadows, and so did Nate, so I wasn't sure if, Okay, so if you want, you can read those questions out.
Yeah, the other 2 questions Josie had were, how do I feel? I moved into the front office this season. Similar question for Nate with head office. Personally, my goals, I think I said this in the presser that I did. I also said this earlier. I could take losing on the field. Not that that's what I'm hoping for. If the locker room and like the players are like all active and engaged, So if we're all having fun, we're all active, we're all talking to each other, and we're all we're all just doing stuff on the site. Our players will get better eventually. So that's just kind of what I'm hoping for. Try to breed like a nice atmosphere.
Nice Oakland. It's like the A's.
Yeah, exactly.
Billy Beane.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, you want to win a championship. At least get back to the playoffs. If not next season, the season after that, at most, at worst.
Mm-hmm.
And then start, the big drive for the title.
Yeah, I've already decided that if we ever win a championship, I'm probably gonna take the day off and just go to like a bar and just start drinking.
Nice.
Yeah. Celebrate. Oh, what happened? I won my championship in this sim league that
I do. Yeah, same question for you, Nate. What are your goals for that role? While I was gone.
Well, I see other sim leagues like the NSFL and the SHL, and like their minor leagues are a comparable size to our just entire league. And I would just like to see our league come up to where they are. Like the SHL has like 16 teams in the majors and 8 in the minors, and I would just like to see something, maybe not that scale, because I mean 16 teams and they have less active players per hockey team because you need 9 batters and like 7 pitchers. That's more than like the 12 and 2 you would need for a hockey team. But I'd like to see us like grow to be that large, to have as much activity as they do, and just kind of just breed the same environment that they have.
Just take all the good stuff that they do, ignore all the bad stuff,
And
slide it on over.
Baseball.
We'll make the ultimate sim league. Oh shit! I spoiled it. I'm making an ultimate frisbee sim league now. No.
Time to cut off the video.
Yeah. No, but yeah. I mean, I would definitely love to see something like that too, because I feel like the more people that are active, it definitely, it makes people want to be a part of it. As of right now. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, I mean, right now, we don't. I mean, we have active people, but it's nothing compared to like those big leagues, like the SHL or the NSFL, and it's like crazy how active these players are. Is like I'm part of the NSFL, and nothing against the NSFL, but I definitely think the PBE sim is definitely a lot better than the NSFL sim, personally at least. So I feel like watching it.
Oh, you
Um,
mean like the game itself?
yeah, the game itself,
Yes.
not like
Oh
the
yeah.
actual like website or anything like that, which
Yeah.
definitely makes it more entertaining to watch and like want to see your player be active instead of like, oh, there's a number right there, even though we're kind of just like little pawns moving
Which
around.
team's me again?
Yeah, it's kind of hard
Yeah.
for that, but I mean, I feel like
It
that.
probably goes back to why Nate wants OTP 19 because
Yeah,
just
it looks so much better.
grade 3 graphics that they have.
Yeah, it looks really nice, and it's like there are a lot of good like engines and stuff like that for Simlings that could be used. Like the new one for OOTP 19 looks really nice, so I would definitely be excited. And just the way it looks could definitely draw some people in.
Yeah, I
Um,
know it was definitely a draw for me. Outside of the fact that baseball is like my favorite sport to watch, like follow, but yeah, the being able to watch the streams when I first joined, seeing our seeing our little pegs, move around and make plays on the field.
mhm,
It
yeah.
was it was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. That definitely helped me stay engaged and want to stick around.
Oh yeah, definitely. And baseball, I mean, like I enjoy baseball. I like baseball, but it's not my like top three favorite sports. There's a couple of sports that I would much rather watch or you know
Hmm.
just be engaged with, like soccer, or football, and stuff like that. But when me and Clem joined together, I didn't think we'd be drafted, but also being drafted on the same team definitely, helped out being engaged too, because like, I had like a friend and be like, yo, you gotta do the updates. You didn't update your guy, you gotta do the PTs and stuff like that. So, I mean, that was,
I try.
yeah, that was nice, but it's like, at the same time, I feel like it is a visual thing because you're just on a form the whole time, and it's just like, okay, putting stats into Gap, putting stats into this, putting stats into that, and then you really don't see like how it comes together until the sim actually happens,
Yeah.
and then just watching the sim is very entertaining, and I like all the people that are like in the sim that do the sims as well. Um, I definitely feel like that may be a draw to bring more people in if we could try to like get that out there instead of
Mhm.
being like, oh yeah, you see that guy, that little dot on the NSFL, that's you. But if you play in the PBE, you like see it like a little kind of rendition of your guy, like a little pawn instead of just like a number like on a
Stadiums.
spreadsheet. Yeah, the stadiums too,
Mhm.
definitely. It like brings it to life more, and it's you know definitely wants it feels like more realistic, definitely. And I think that's like the whole thing of these sim leagues is wanting it to be as realistic as you can get.
Mhm. Uh, yeah. Any other goals, Nate, for your
I mean, that's
rookie
pretty much I
season?
just wanted more info for my rookie season.
No, in head office. I mean, rookie
Oh,
season head
head
office.
office. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see this league become a lot representative of the Major League Baseball, but I
Mhm.
understand that it is a sim league and there are some like rules you can't exactly carry over since it won't fit the format. But I want to keep it as authentic as possible.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that if we could. In every video game I've ever played, sports game I've ever played, I always try to keep it as realistic as possible. I never want to beat up on the computer and win 100-0, whatever sport it is. So
Rookie mode.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just try and keep it as realistic. It makes the game more fun,
Yeah, it definitely
at
does.
least to a certain point. Not
Hmm.
adding injuries, obviously, but
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, because that would definitely not be the best thing to keep people active. Because, like, if your guy broke his leg, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be out
yeah.
for like 2 months, and I'm like,
I
wait,
haven't
that's the
seen
whole
him.
sim.
I'll be
Yeah.
in 3 weeks when my guy's back healthy.
No, yeah. I mean, that would also be cool adding like some, if we're able to, based on the sim, like adding kind of different things like that to make it more realistic. But I mean, definitely injuries is not one of them that I would
Yeah, of
enjoy.
course.
Yeah, but I mean, I love this sim. The sim's a lot of fun. It definitely This is the first sim I did, and then I joined the NSFL, and I always like come back to here like all the time. I come on the website all the time. I go on the Discord, just screw around with people, especially in the Voyagers one, and then you know I want to try to do whatever I can as well to make this a thing that we can get more people in, because it's definitely going to be a lot more fun when we get more people involved as well.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, I would say the biggest goal, probably completely unrealistic, have all 6 teams all filled with active players. Every position is taken. Never gonna happen, probably, but
No, it'll happen.
I mean, we'll definitely get at least everyone will be there. Like 99% of everybody in the league is active, or at least semi-active.
Yeah,
It'd be a nice goal to have.
yeah,
But,
I think that's the goal for a lot of people. And then, like Nate, and we already do, like Nate mentioned before, and, we do have the 2 minor league teams now, too. So it's like, I mean, it's not as, glamorous, I guess, as being a part of the PBE, like the major leagues. But, I mean, it's still something. And it's, you'll still be able to watch your player. Yeah. I mean, I still like the DSFL, even though it wasn't in the NSFL. It was a lot more. It was a lot of fun. I mean.
yeah. The only thing that I think we could possibly change eventually when we get a few more players into the minor leagues, this is probably a lot of work. We probably need another simmer, but on the off days that we aren't streaming PBE, I mean, this probably wouldn't even be possible. Streaming the minor league games on the off days, probably not even possible because we do so many games like in a day that they all just get simmed
There
over.
is an option to like watch replays though, isn't there?
I believe so. So we could maybe do something like that. I don't know how realistic that is, but yeah, that would definitely help the new people get involved. If not next season, season 7, when hopefully the minors are a little more filled.
Yeah, I feel like something like that we would have to wait for the minors to get a little bit more field. As of right now, it's only like the 2 teams, and then it's a bunch of like the CPU teams.
Yeah, and there's only like what 8 maybe players in this. Yeah. And the rest are just inactive, retired people.
Yeah, so it's
Free agents, I mean.
Yeah, that would definitely be something interesting. It's something I would definitely love to see as the league does progress, as it evolves, we get more people and stuff. So, I don't know. I'm excited for the future, though. Should be fun.
Yeah, me as well. This brings us to the last question that we were asked.
There's another one.
This is the last one. I guess this is just for me. We have 2 of the best inactive players in Sturgill Rove and Laddie McBantershire. What's the long-term goal for those? Well, Sturgill Rove, almost 700 TPE, maybe not, 650, something like that. TPE starting pitcher. Doesn't exactly pitch like it, but he is Shadows' brother, and he is a former GM. So, long-term, hopefully, Shadows can bring him back. If not, he will probably be, at best, or at worst, our number 4 pitcher. Going forward, at least very short term, assuming we can compete as early as next season. Maybe if we're still doing incredibly poorly next season, probably at the top of the list of players we have to deal. I know any team would be super happy to acquire a 600 TP starting pitcher. As for McBantershire, he just came back a few days ago. I don't know how.
He randomly showed up in the Discord.
Yeah, Shadows kind of just offhandedly tagged him and was like, "Hey, you need to come back." And he started talking and hanging out with us. So, yeah, hopefully that's a solid. I'm definitely sticking around. So hopefully, Laddie stays around. I haven't gotten around to asking them about a position switch, we still need a first baseman. And
Yes, we do.
Nate's obviously the catcher of the future, so we'd move Laddie somewhere else, get them both there 90 some odd 100 games in. It'll be a lot nicer. But yeah, that's the long term goal. It's try and get either a position switch or keep them active. So, yep, that's all the questions that we got. You guys have any questions of your own that you wanted to ask? Probably not. Right?
I got a question for you, Nate.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite kind of pizza topping?
Probably just like the classic pepperoni. I like any kinds of meat, but pepperoni is probably my favorite.
That's my boy right there. Pepperoni is the best. I also like sausage or meatballs really good too, but
Yeah, those are good too.
hmm
I like all three on the same pizza.
oh, well, I gotta go. I'm getting pizza. No, but yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to add unless you guys do.
Anything, Nate?
Yeah, no, I think we did good.
All right.
Okay.
Well, it was fun hanging out with you guys. This was actually really cool. Hopefully, we'll do another one of these before next season starts.
Yeah, we could do
To
one.
get some preseason.
Yeah, about like the
podcast
draft or some after the draft or something
Yeah,
we could do.
Yep. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. No, I just want to say I am Nate Piazza. No, I'm Pazuzu. No, I just want to say thanks to anybody who would be listening to this. I appreciate the time you put in, and whoever's grading this as well.
Also, thanks to the people who interacted with us and gave us questions.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you to the question people.
Thank you to Juosu, Max Crazy, and Mash, and C-Dub. Really appreciate the questions. It definitely helped us out a lot.
All right. I think we're done here.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Bye.